lovely peoples of the internet. 'Tis I, Savage Mano, here with the Holy Spackle,
Howdy.
coming at you on another Tuesday night. I'll let you introduce yourself. Sorry.
No, you can introduce me. It's fine. It
I'm
makes
so
me feel like
excited to have you
there's
back.
a carpet rolled out. What's up?
I'm so excited to have you back. I'm so
Oh,
excited to
good.
have you here.
Good. I'm glad. You're happy because I'm happier here than there for sure. And yes, I'm glad to be back.
Good.
And I'm
Good.
glad I'm missed. Actually, it'd be sad if I wasn't missed. It makes me feel good. Hello.
Well,
Hello.
of course you are missed. Of course you are. Of course you are. I do have two versions up. Mowdy pointed this out to me a while back that on the replays, for some reason, the vertical layout gets more plays on the replays. So I'm gonna try it again and we'll see if it's awful again. I might just go back to, because this is the better format. The landscape is the better format. Yes. Spackle is very loved. Very, very loved.
I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, I like the landscape if it's just us talking, but then when we're looking at something, then we kind of go off to the side anyway, right? So,
That's true. The chat does get split. It seems like for the most part, though, people will migrate to the landscape version eventually with the chat. It's like they might see it on the vertical and then like migrate to the landscape. And then luckily I get to see both sets of comments. So I can like try and make sure that I'm putting them up on the screen whenever I'm replying to them. Like this. In that way. You guys know when I'm replying to you. If it was someone from the other chat, then you know what it is that I'm talking about. Me too, Amarose. I definitely prefer the landscape as well. But you know what? I'm over 30. That might have something to do with it. I do think it's interesting that like people just consume media this way all the time when like our eyes go this way. But that's just a weird like
yeah,
my brain logic
you
thing.
just, well, it takes effort to hold your arms in that position, probably, and it's easier to just tilt your neck down and get a humpback. Because that's exactly our goals, right? Get a humpback.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Sorry. I hope that wasn't too loud.
By the way,
Yeah,
I've had an edible. I just want to let you know. So I feel like you should know. Thanks.
I wasn't sure if we were sharing that or not. But Spackle's definitely kind of goofy tonight, and I'm loving it. She's the best. I'm sure you mean Spackle, my
My
co-host. Because
connection's
yeah,
really rough.
my connection is shit. I was hoping that I had it fixed. Okay.
No, I think it's mine. I think it's me.
Ooh, okay. Let us know in the comments which one of us is coming in kind of choppy. So yeah, I was looking over these lovely orange papers this week. I the more that I look over this from Orange here, I'm just gonna add this, which is like the website that I'm getting all of this from. So you can see, because you guys have heard me talk about how like this is like, oh, it's a bunch of hyperlinks and like no, like really, these are all hyperlinks that like go to it didn't show you but these are all like
So he
every single
tries
one
to
of
link
these.
his sources.
Yeah.
Use it. Okay.
So you can just like fall
Kind
down
of
a
like
rabbit
how
hole.
Wikipedia does that sometimes, and you're like, cool, I can figure out who this historian
Yeah.
is or whatever.
Yes. And it's kind of like when I was in college, one of my favorite pastimes was to just like get stoned and like go on Wikipedia and just like click the link go deeper. Um,
Oh, I bet that is actually entertaining.
oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's like such a good time. Again, maybe it's because I'm like from this generation, but I was like 20 years old when I first discovered this, and it was like, oh my, best way to spend an afternoon. But okay, thank you. Sounds like we're both coming in fine, so that's good. Never consume media on the phone. Only time I used it for more than texting or calls, which I hate, was after Helene. I have my phone set up in a way. I don't know if I've told you about this, Beckle. I can
You
only
did. You're in
use
jail.
I basically gave my own phone jail.
Yeah. And if she sometimes she just has to sit in the corner.
Kinda. I mean, so there's only 6 apps. Um, and in like, if I want there is a way to, like, change out one of the apps. Like, for one of my classes, I had to, like, turn one of my things in with an app. Um, but it keeps me from just using my phone all the time. Because I will absolutely do the thing where I'm like, "Oh, and then let me pull that up, and then let me pull that up, and then let me pull up that." And this doesn't have, like, Chrome or a browser on it. I have my work phone that has Chrome on it, because sometimes you need that for work. But it's also, like, the work phone has, like, shitty graphics. It's, like, the bottom of the line, whatever. So that, like, that's the idea is that, like, if I want to go down the rabbit hole, I'm going to be going down the rabbit hole on, like, the really shitty screen, or I'm going to properly sit down at my computer and do it like an adult.
When you said about looking things up, I was like, this oh my gosh, I use my phone all the time to look things up. Like that's the main place where I look things up.
Um, I do when I'm out. I have the work phone, but not. No, I like use my computer. Isn't it so much more? Isn't it's just more better? Um, when you
Do
sit
you
down at
print
the
out MapQuest too?
no,
Teasing, I'm teasing. No, that would be funny. You're like, I took off the GPS too.
I did for a long time, and then I recently changed it out. One of my 6 apps is Maps now because
Okay.
I moved back to this town, and the town has changed so much. Like, I did used to live here, and I remembered because the first time I moved here was before not before MapQuest, but before everybody had it, like, on their mobile, and I remember because I had, like, not the Razor, but the Crazer. Do you remember the Crazer? That was, like, the
Yes.
slimmer version of the Razor? And I had, like I
I
could
was
go
selling
on the
cell phones
browser.
about then, by the way. I used to sell cell phones about then.
Okay. So and I could go on the browser and look up MapQuest and get directions. And I was doing housekeeping at the time, and I was, like, a team leader for a housekeeping company. And so many people would, like, even from, like, the other teams that were on, like, our same company, would call me up and be like, "Hey, Mike is sending us out to this house. I don't know where it is. I think it's in this neighborhood. Can you look up this address and tell me?"
And you're gonna be like a dial a map quest? Like, is that what's the plan? Like they're just gonna call
Kind
you.
of. Yeah. Well, okay, so at the time, keep in mind, like, cell phones, not everybody had a cell phone. Nowadays, everyone has a phone. Like, if you're gonna get a hold of somebody, you're more than likely going to
Yeah.
call them on their cell phone. At the time, we mostly had landlines, and because we did housekeeping, we all had cell phones for the most part, but we did have to, like, have, in case somebody's cell phone went dead or that broke or whatever, we had, like, certain contingency plans where it was like, if we would because we had, like, 3 crews that were working at any given time, at, like, 3 different houses. So we would have, like, 3 houses that we did in the morning and 3 houses that we did in the afternoon. And we kinda, like, switch around people crews depending on, what size houses and stuff to get them done at the same time. And, um we had, like, this whole code where, like, we would if you were trying to get a hold of one of the other crews at the house, you would call that house, their landline, and you would call and let it ring once and then hang up. And then that was, like, the signal. If you heard, like, you just heard the phone ring once, you knew that it was like another crew that was calling. So the next time it rang, you would call back or you would pick up.
Oh, okay. Some spy stuff. If it rings once.
If it just rings once and stops, then you know that it's going to ring again in like 2 minutes. And then when that happens, pick it up. It was our like special ring.
I'm always kind of afraid what like maids and cleaners like run into sometimes. I think it sometimes could be a lot.
It can be I wouldn't want to do it now. I absolutely would be more terrified to do it now. One time came like around the corner with police, had their guns drawn kind of thing. That was we had so and again it was just like a fluke kind of thing that they had like a silent alarm and they hadn't told one of the people that had left that day like that we were coming that day, so not to set the alarm. And it was one of the houses where they just left the alarm off on like the day that we would come. And so I didn't like have the code. I didn't know even that there was one. And then like, here, I'll switch back to this. This is
oh no.
Yeah, I didn't even know like that there was a code or anything. So I'm just like getting set up, like here's all the you do bathrooms, I'm doing the dusting, sent somebody off into the kitchen. And I like come around the corner with my like dusting tray. And there's literally like a cop is like, free.
Oh my gosh. And did you drop everything? Ah!
Yeah. I dropped everything. I screamed. Like, I'm sure that I was immediately, like, I made him aware that I was not a threat just by, like, my, like, fear reaction. But, like, yeah. He was scared. I was scared. There was...
Oh my gosh. And all because an owner didn't tell you about the alarm.
Because he didn't tell, I think it was, like, the nanny or whatever that, like, dropped the kids off that day. That, like, something happened. And I can't remember what it was now because it was years ago. But something happened where there was another, like, hired person that was in the house after them. And, like, somebody forgot to tell them, like, don't set the alarm today because the cleaners are coming.
Oh, I see.
Like, and it was just, like, a person who isn't normally there on that day and knows to set the alarm when they leave. But yeah, it's just a fluke. It really was a fluke. It really was. See, nowadays, I would get fucking shot by that fucking cop. Probably not because I'm white, but like,
if you look like Antifa.
You're right. You're right. Maybe I would. I would get shot by the cop, and then everybody would be like, "No, that cop was in the right."
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, there'd be an argument online. Like, anytime anything happens, it's like, well, she shouldn't have been there in her own home. Like, like, what are you talking about? Well,
right? She shouldn't have been holding that feather duster. Like,
her thing was red. That's gang colors.
Like, that's what I'm saying is nowadays I would be much more scared. But I don't, maybe do you, the other thing is I would always put my headphones in. I think maybe I would have to like have like a sound bar where I'd be like, hey, just announcing that I'm coming in. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, and then there's that kind of creepy idea that, if you can't hear and somebody creeps behind you,
so much stuff. Like even at the time, I remember that there was like we had this book that they gave us that was like a 2-inch binder that was of like the clients that we had because we didn't clean all of their houses like every week. It was some of them were like, once a month or whatever. And some of them would just like we'd stop hearing from them, but like they were still like in the book, kind of thing. And it was like directions to their house. Typically it was 2 sets of directions from their house because of like depending on which direction you were coming into the neighborhood. And it was like, here's the key code to the garage, like keys under the mat, blah, 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 like all of this fucking shit. And they just like gave us the book. It was like, here's your book. Like, don't lose it.
That's funny.
And then I don't even think that I had to turn mine in when I left. I think that like maybe if somebody like gets fired and it's like disgruntled that they would have to like turn it in. But like,
Yeah, if it's
and it
customer
was
data, yeah, they should have.
I will give them this, that it was on pink sheets, which if you're not familiar, back in the day, if you had a photocopier, pink sheets wouldn't photocopy. It would just come out black. Because it was, I guess, whatever, enough pigment to like make it all come out.
But now they can.
Yeah. So that was the idea, was that you couldn't just like take it in and like photocopy it. Now you could write it down. There's nothing stopping you from doing that, But I guess like, I don't know. This I am absolutely sure that like all of the codes that were in it, again, this was like years and years ago. Like I'm sure none of the codes are still active or anything like that. I don't like I'm sure I threw my book away. I probably shredded it. Um, but yeah, like there were for years after that I thought about it and I was like, man, if any of these houses ever got fucking robbed, it would have such a huge long
Arrest
list to suspect.
robberies have happened.
But yeah.
Neighbors stating maids.
I the people trust their hired help with like the most wild shit. I'm just gonna say that. Like it is
That's
wild.
true. All your belongings. Some people are doing who knows what. And they don't care.
I mean, there was like I don't say a lot of the shit because I had like kind of this like personal like housekeeper client confidentiality policy that I had, but it wasn't, like there's no law backing that up. That's just a personal policy. And it's weird sometimes to me that it's like, wow.
But it doesn't look like confession if you ever got dragged in. So that's the only thing.
Exactly.
Bummer.
That's yeah.
You should
I
petition
mean,
that
I'm
for
not
that.
gonna rat on
Maids need
you.
that progression. They need that. Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna rat on you, but I'm not necessarily your housekeeper. Like, also, yeah, if you like, if you get arrested and I get questioned by the police, like I'm not gonna fucking lie. But anyway, I don't do that
He's
shit
got
anymore.
10 endangered species on his wall.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
You know, I cannot stand game hunters, so I came up with that. I was trying to think of
I
like
mean,
what would be a deal breaker.
I've definitely cleaned houses with endangered species that were taxidermied. But I don't know. I feel like there's probably legal ways to obtain those. It's not my business.
They can die and not be hunted. Sometimes you'll find them dead.
Well, and I know like a lot of ivory is like it's just been in the market, so it's like it's secondhand, third hand, whatever. And it's not like it was necessarily like obtained illegally. It just might be old or fake or
Yeah. Just not recent or whatever.
yeah. I do wonder about. Well, we're like getting so off topic.
I know. I was just talking about like deal breakers. If I was a maid, and I think being a big game hunter would be one of them. Like I'm thinking of legal deal breakers, not illegal ones. Well,
But
I
like
guess it'd
things
be
that would be,
semi-illegal.
yeah. Mostly for me, it's just like if you want me to do shit that is like, okay, I'll be like, okay, I'll do this one time if this is like it has gotten to this point that you now need professional help. Okay. If this is like a every week you do this shit and you're not like trying, there's no effort to like make any difference. Like, no, I'm not doing it. I have one client who the daughter would leave the entire bedroom floor, literally the entire bedroom floor would be just like covered in like I think it was just laundry usually, and I would have to like literally move all of the laundry to vacuum, to change the sheets and vacuum. Like and it's like this is
It's
all
like
I'm doing in
way
here.
extra work because you're like having to bulldoze through their mess.
And it was like all I'm doing in here is literally like wiping down the headboard, changing the sheets, and vacuuming. And it takes me like 45 minutes because it's a huge bedroom and literally like there was not a single square foot of this girl's floor that was not covered in shit every fucking time. And it was like, just have your kid clear up her shit before you know what I mean? That was a deal breaker for me. I was like, okay, I like either I'm not doing the girl's room or like we're not doing that because like
Because it was always like a disaster, like where you had to, yeah. Unless
and
they're
that
going to
was
pay
the
extra for that.
well, here's the thing. I don't even if they did. No. Like I have a limit. Where I'm like, no. Like I won't do your dirty dishes. I'll do your dirty dishes once. Again, if you've like gotten to a point where you need fucking professional help, you have got let the dishes get piled up. Okay, I'll do them once. I'm not going to do your fucking dirty dishes after that. I'm not a maid, I'm a housekeeper. I will not do your nasty fucking dirty dishes more than once.
Oh, all this time I'm thinking maid, a housekeeper. So that's a little bit different. Like you're staying at someone's house for a certain amount of time, right?
No, I am in and out of there in less than 3 hours typically,
Oh, ah.
and I am on to the next one. I am there to clean your house. I'm not there to water your plants. I'll water your plants if you want me to. I'm not but you get
Well,
what I'm
that can be a
saying.
big deal, watering plants. Like every time I've house sat, I had to water plants.
If it's just a few, I don't care. I don't mind.
But
If
if it's
it's
a whole
like,
botanical garden, you're like, okay, I have limits.
yeah. No, I've luckily never had that, but that would be like maybe like a deal breaker for me. But yeah, I have had to explain to multiple people, I am not a maid. I will not do your dishes. I will do them this week. But no, we're not doing that going forward. I have gone so far as to like the one guy, he was relatively nice. He worked for it doesn't matter. He just was never he was away a lot. And he would just like and I think he forgot because it was like he was gone and then he like came back and then he like I think and I was just like, okay, like I'm not doing your dishes. We've talked about this and you agreed to that. But then there's like dishes in the sink. So I literally just like took his dishes out of the sink, cleaned the sink, and put his dirty dishes back in it. And like never again. Like I will not even put them in the dishwasher for you. Fuck no.
Would it kill you to wash all the plates? You know the puppet guys? They were arguing as roommates, but they're making the puppets talk, and it was over dishes.
I know, I haven't seen that one.
Oh, it's
But
so
like
cute. It's so funny.
I think for me it's more of like the shit where they're like they don't care, they're not listening kind of thing. That is a little bit gross as opposed to like I had one guy who he had like medical issues and I had to clean the outside of his toilet every week. I think it was every 2 weeks. Um but like he like obviously felt bad about it and like he wasn't like trying to get the outside of his toilet dirty. And like he was an
He's like,
older
I
guy
can't
who's
help it. It's a fire hose.
You know what I mean? It's like that kind of thing. Okay, that's not a deal breaker. I'm just gonna like make sure that I have fucking hand sanitizer like up to my
Yeah.
elbows when I leave. Like whatever. But like Maya says, "Sup, Becca?"
Hello, Maya.
But yeah, it was more like the like where they didn't have respect for me. If you like thought of me as like the hired help and it was obvious, like the little girl who was just like, oh, whatever, I can leave shit all over my floor. The housekeeper's coming, she'll pick it up for me. No, no, I won't.
Housekeepers are not to be disrespected, but maids, they can be disrespected.
You know, I not that they should be, but I do feel like it is a different sort of position that is more susceptible to that. Like I feel bad for maids because yes, the stuff that they have to do.
Yeah, well, I think they charge by the hour, right? So that's some of it. But I think they probably have some sort of contingency charge, like for like I don't know, somebody that's like never like washed their shower in 10 years and now they want a maid, like something like that.
I had deep cleaning rates and maintenance cleaning rates.
Oh, there you go.
And that's so I worked for another housekeeping company that he had the company for over a decade before I worked there. And then like I worked my way up in the company. And actually it was like his suggestion that he was like, you and this other person who's like a good friend of mine that also worked for the company, was like, you guys should like start your own because like there are more than enough clients in there. And also like we were a little bit more thorough than some of the people on the crew, and he was like, you could charge more basically, and he was right. I don't see it in my own house, but I'll see it in yours. That doesn't mean I'll judge you if I go to your house, by the way. Like that's to be clear to anybody who I've like been to their house. Like I see it. I
White
don't
gloves
judge.
on. She's like feeling. But this bookshelf is dusty.
I mean, I will notice the dust on your bookshelf, but I don't care. Like I'm not going to judge you because here's the other thing: is because I've seen the other side of that. That like the people whose houses are clean and or dirty, it's not always at all related to like whether or not they're tidy, whether or not they're have their priorities in order. You know what I mean? Like all the things that are important about a person have say like whether or not there's dust on your shelf says nothing about a person that is of importance, in my opinion.
You just gotta dust it off. Dust your Bible. Just kidding.
No, no, no. You know what I did dust off is like all of these. Look at this is you ready for this?
That is a lot of books. Is that your
They're all
school
12-step
books?
books.
Oh,
These are all
those
12-step
are
books.
just what? What is a Scientology? They're selling books.
The JFT. This was the one that was like I probably used the most. The JFT. But yeah, as Belle sees it, this is like kind of again, it's like a daily like devotional. So it's like if you don't have the answer, you're like, what do I do? Because you don't, because you're in the cult.
What do you know? You're an addict. And
You
we're
don't know
all your
anything. You're an
elder.
addict.
We're
So you
your
have
higher
to
power.
consult something. And you can't keep consulting the same. This is it's just like the condensed version. It's the big book, but it's the get it? It's a tiny big book. Um, it is a big book. Uh, but you don't, you get sick of consulting the same 12 steps, the same however many chapters over and over and over again. You've read it however many times. So then you turn to the devotionals. And there's the As Bill Sees It and the JFT and the ODAT. And I don't know where my ODAT went. I'm assuming that I probably gave it to somebody. They also had the ODAT. And then that's what you like open it to whatever day. And then that's going to be like a clue like we're reading tarot cards. And
So
that's going
so
to
you
tell
didn't
us.
just read it in order. It was like numbered with the day. Like, oh, this is the sixth. I have to read the sixth.
So as Bill sees it is numbered, but I think it is numbered like, oh no, it's not 365. Okay. It's 332.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Some days aren't
you
counting.
I don't yeah, but it was like you would like ask your sponsor like which one you should read, or you kind of like flip through it, or like that kind of, it's like you find one that's like, this seems pertinent to like what I'm talking about. O.JFT is by the day, where it literally is like, today is, what is today, February 10th. So today's reading from the JFT is basic text page 107. In recovery, our ideas of fun can change. And then it has this whole like paragraph about, about that section after you read it. And then about what our higher power, through the grace of our higher power, and like, this, that, and the other. And then it's what's that? Like a mantra at the end. Just for today, I will have fun in my recovery. And then usually whenever you go to a meeting, at the start of the meeting, they will read either the ODAT or the JFT. And ODAT stands for one day at a time. Sorry. And JFT is just for today. So basically same concept. One of them is AA, one of them is NA.
One day at a time, and just today, you said?
Just for today.
Just for today.
So it's like, just for today, I'm going to stay clean and off drugs and alcohol. Just for today. You ready? Because this is the other thing. We read this part first, and then we flip to the page. Just for today, my thoughts will be on recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for today, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for today, I will have a program. I will try to follow it to the best of my ability. Just for today, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for today, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on new associations, people who are not using and who have found a new way of life. So long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. And then everybody in the group goes, just for today.
Wait, they have a response? Like the
Yeah,
Catholic
it's like a call and response. They respond just for.
Oh my gosh, call and
But you
response.
have to do it slow like that, because it's like, that's how
Just for today.
impact. Just for today. ODAAT. Yeah. Andrea's asking, ODAT? Oh, what? ODAAT is one day at a time, which is typically when you like do an acronym for things, you don't do ones for like little words like a or a half, but otherwise it would just be ODT, I think. So ODAT is more fun. ODAT. But yeah, that's probably why I hung on to the JFT for so long, is because it was like my one that I would go to. This one is specifically like has like it references other literature and letters from Bill. And I think that's maybe why I liked that one, because it was like more like is directly connected to Bill. Whereas the other ones were like about the literature.
You know, I bet there's a whole bunch of people that have gone through AA that don't know about Bill particularly. Like, they don't think about him.
So I've thought about this, and this is because like, well, you've seen how like I will like make a booklet, because I like to make a booklet, but I have thought about making, because there is AA and NA have like a lot of stuff that they have like on their website that's like formatted in ways to like print out like this. So you will see it at meetings a lot, that they will have like physical copies of them that people will pass around, of like the one I'm thinking of is like the 12, there's like 12 like members that are like not your typical member, and it's the one that like you give to somebody who's like, "Oh, I think that I maybe haven't hit my rock bottom, or I may be too far gone, or whatever." And it's like all these people who are like supposed to be like the extreme example of whatever. And there's one atheist and one agnostic in it. But the atheist isn't really atheist if you actually pay attention to what they're saying. They're agnostic. So
So it was like somebody writing on behalf of an atheist when they're not an atheist, kind of thing. Like
it was, yeah. Like he was trying to like present himself as an atheist, he wasn't.
So like a Kurt
There
movie.
it was, yeah, it was really interesting. But I remember somebody gave me that when I was like, "But I don't believe in a God," and they were like, "It's okay. The group is the higher power." Um, and so we have like these literature, and it also there's like one that has like all of the roles of like the trusted servants, and there's ones for just like that sort of stuff. And I saw recently this thing that somebody was talking about, and I can't remember all of it, and I don't want to tie it back because I'm afraid that I'll say the wrong thing. But basically, the gist of it was that they were saying that like a lot of times you need to be able to like reach people in the sort of language that they're used to hearing. And it gave me this idea to write something like what Orange did with the Orange Papers, but not necessarily so like aggressively, but more in that like 12-step rhetoric of like, should we not blah blah blah, like in that. I don't even know how to explain it, but there's like a certain tone that like all of these books have, that are like you heard it when I read the JFT, that it's like it has this lulling.
And now, as we step forward into the new light and face our daily challenges,
Yeah, like that sort of, like I could open it up to any page, right? Your prospect may belong to a religious denomination. His religious education and training may be far superior to yours. And it's just like the way that,
it's written like a sermon.
yes, yes. And I want to maybe take some of what Orange is talking about and write it in like AA light language, and like distribute that for people to just like pass out like zines. Am I terrible? Am I terrible?
No, I don't think so. But Aunt Jared's comment has me kind of laughing.
Not with that attitude. That's so I remember the one. So Missouri is weird about like the way that they will fund drug treatment facilities and alcohol treatment facilities.
The
And
right
one
in
of the
general
things,
was weird about that.
what was that? California's weird about it?
No, the right wing, particularly in general, is weird about it for some reason. They want to fight it, but then they don't want to actually invest in it. It's more like they just care about the criminal aspect.
Yeah, they just want to like give you a bunch of like DWIs and like hope that you figure it out on your own kind of thing. Um, but yeah, the one, I can't remember how it was, but in order to like get certain funding for the alcohol like detox, maybe it wasn't the detox. Maybe it was like if they didn't go into detox or something like that. But it was like in order to get certain amount of funding, they had to have like had a drink in the last 24 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And so it would be like
They're
these
like
people that like,
rewarding people. I've fallen back into the arms of Satan.
That's kind of how they would do it. And it ended up being this like weird sort of like statistic that they will use where it's like, oh, well, like people, were able to like go. They were unable to go 24 hours without. It's like, no, they were. But statistically, because they needed to get into that program, they did have a drink on their way in. It was funny. I don't know. I remember the intake ladies were like pissed about it one night though. They were like, why do we have to do this? I don't. But yeah, I think that is also part of like the reason why AA and NA are so prolific in this part of the country is because right wingers absolutely like they don't want to find a real solution. They just want us to like go to some meetings. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I don't know. The solution
And
is very
fuck off.
similar to like biblical solution kind of thing.
Fuck off or die off is what it feels like. And it really feels like when people like when conservatives figure it out, like they don't care. And I think that's the thing that really bothers me.
They
Like
care
you're
when
supposed to
it's
be all for
suddenly
family
their
values.
kid. If it's their kid or their family member, that's when they care. Then they'll go, "Oh, well, I changed my mind on this."
Yeah, that's sorry, that was probably really loud. That's another thing that I noticed a while back when Roe v. Wade like first got overturned and I'm not going to give too many details about it. Um but let's just say that like maybe somebody I knew was helping to transport people to a place where they could get an abortion if they were maybe in a place where they couldn't before that. And I'm just going to keep it vague like that. And I was amazed at like how many of these people were A, conservative. Like, but you voted for this. Okay. And B, that they were like still like in favor of it and they were just like, well, but this is a
My
special
my
circumstance.
situation's different. Yep.
But it wasn't any different. That's the thing. Is they would like say, "Oh, this is a special circumstance," and it's like, "But I've heard this your special circumstance is literally the same as like 20% of the other people that go through this." But anyway, sorry, I'm not gonna. I should be more careful what I say, but you get my point, right?
No, I do. These pro-life laws go way beyond what they're attempting to do. They're attempting, supposedly, they're attempting to, keep, the fetus life, and honor it like they would a live person, right? And they want to assign personhood to the fetus, but at the same
Right.
time, they really drop the ball on what to do with mothers in really disaster situations. And like to equate this with murder too is wild. I'm just trying to think, in terms of like a pro-lifer. Like, do pro-lifers really think all women that get abortions are murderers? Do they really, really, truly think that? And it's weird. A lot of them probably, when push comes to shove, see that there's a difference, but it's hard.
Um,
It's really a highly emotionalized issue too.
yeah. I do think that there are some people who really do see it that way, that like all of those people are murderers. Um, I think and those are the people that in some ways like I don't fault them in that like they obviously stand behind what they say, right? So if they have a friend who like they find out that friend had an abortion, they cut that friend off. They do not talk to that friend anymore. Um, to me, like I'm actually okay with that stance. I'm not okay with like then going and voting to where like you don't have the right to do that. But again, that's your right to vote for. So like I disagree with that, but I will fight tooth and nail for your right to be able to do that. You know? But yeah, like if somebody is like I legitimately believe that that is murder, straight up murder. And then they, like I said, cut off their friends, cut off their family that had an abortion. I mean, I wouldn't do the same, but I see the logic. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's too bad that they don't know that for the longest time, Judaism believed that uh, life happened at first breath. And it's too bad that at best, I think it was Augustine that said you can basically, it's not until the quickening, which is 20 weeks. But, and then I don't think they know historically that a lot of people didn't care about abortion at a certain point. Like, and then, recent times until Jerry Falwell rolled in and made it like a massive issue because they wanted a arm twisting issue. So if you have all these preachers that are saying you're a murderer, well, wow, you certainly don't want to vote for a politician that supports murder, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's
it
been
all
a
comes back
wedge
to
issue.
control.
I'm almost surprised that they got overthrown, and only because they've enjoyed the wedge issue. Now they have to find another wedge issue.
Oops. I mean, they've got plenty. Also, by the way, if you or anybody that you know is in mid Missouri and wants to get a conceal and carry permit, hit me up because we are doing a group class. Um, where we're getting a bunch of people together and we're like all so that we don't have to take the class with anybody conservative or anybody who's going to be breathing down our
Oh,
neck or
liberals learn how to use gun together without conservatives.
liberals all together learn how to use gun. We borrow maybe two gun from and all learn together using two gun. And
But
then
not three.
you but no, I mean, what if you have guns that you want to bring, like, and if you're a responsible gun owner, I'm fine with that. Um, but yeah, it's like an 8-hour training thing. So we can either do it like over the course of 2 days or do it like all in one day, depending on how we're going to schedule it. But I am getting a group of people together. I have already like started to figure out the budget on this, and this is really actually happening. So,
Everybody needs to
yeah.
sign waivers.
Well, yeah, it's going to be like a legit conceal and carry class. Like it's
I
not.
know, but I never trust people to not look down a barrel.
If they will do that, they would get kicked out of the class. Okay, like this is. But
I'm joking about looking down the barrel, but I've been flashed before. I was at a gun range and someone like turned their gun towards me,
were
like, and
they
like, what?
barrel sweep you? Yeah, that's
Yeah.
scary. But yes, this is a real thing. We're getting it done. We're gonna be so basically the idea is and I'm not necessarily encouraging people to conceal and carry. Okay, like I don't. If you don't want to conceal and carry, don't conceal and carry. But please do get your conceal and carry permit because if they can have guns, we can have guns. And if they want us to register ours, then they need to register theirs. And that's the message that I'm trying to send. So the more the merrier. Like I said, you don't need to be somebody who is ever going to shoot a gun ever again after this. But if you can pick up a gun to come and join our group and get your conceal and carry, we'll probably do it over a weekend. And help us make the statement that if they can have guns, we can have guns, and if they want us to register ours, then they need to register theirs. Then please hit me up on Discord. So yeah. Well, send them my way if they're in mid Missouri or if they can get to mid Missouri. for a weekend. Please send them my way. We're going to do this. And they do need to, I think, be a Missouri resident to get it's like a CWP in Missouri. And I think they need to be a Missouri resident for that.
Yeah, so you wouldn't want someone from New York or something. Like they need to be from Missouri. Okay.
Now, I think if there's somebody from New York who has like a concealed carry in New York, they can still come to the class and everything. They just like their New York would cover us anyway. I think. I'm not sure on that. Don't quote me on that, but I'm fine for people to come to the class. Is what I'm saying. But in order to get your permit from it, you need to be a Missouri resident. Exactly, Amaros. Amaros says, I don't think the conservative side realizes how many liberals have theirs, collect them, and love them. I don't anymore because I've like moved too many times and trying to like get things. I'm trying to be a responsible gun owner and get shit like actually registered when I move and stuff like that is really a pain in the ass. And that's why I ended up like basically selling all of mine to like pawn shops because it was, well, to friends through pawn shops. Because the other thing is that in Missouri, and this is, you'll understand why I'm doing this when I explain. And this is, Spackles heard this and I tried to keep it concise. In the state of Missouri, it is perfectly legal for me to go walk out on the street, run into somebody that I have never met ever before in my entire life, a complete stranger, buy an AK-47 off of them, complete with magazines and ammunition, with nothing more than just a bill of sale written on a scrap of paper. And then I can absolutely take that, strap it to my chest, and go walk around downtown as a legal gun owner. Okay? I think that that's a problem. I think that that's a problem. I think that in Missouri, if you're going to own a firearm, it needs to be like a registered firearm. Maybe a certain caliber that there might be, okay, that's acceptable, that you don't necessarily have to have those registered. I'm kind of iffy on that. But you could convince me of that, okay? But I think that, yeah, if you're going to have a high caliber, high capacity weapon, you need to have that registered. Just like the state of Missouri needs to know that you have it.
Conversation like this is like of course it's registered. It's been a rule here forever in California, but like I guess it's like debatable. But there is some sort of, again, even in California, there's some sort of gun show issue as well. I think our gun shows they have to send it to a like a shop, so they do this like sale at the gun show, and I think they have to still bring it to a shop, and then they have to go through the like check that way. I think that's how they do it. But I think other states, they just walk off with them, like kind of like what you're saying.
Yeah, we have, if you purchase from a registered dealer, and to be at a gun show, to have a booth at a gun show that is selling firearms, you have to be a registered firearms dealer. Then you have to do a background check. It's right now, it's just like you sit down and you fill out the thing, and it's literally less than an hour. Like they'll send it off and you'll just like get an alert, on your phone, and you come back and finish the paperwork. But there is no limit in the state of Missouri as a private citizen how many firearms that you can buy and sell as a private citizen. There is a law that you have to have a bill of sale at the time of sale. There's no law that says you have to like keep track of that. You could lose it in the wash, and like there's not any. Now the backlash of that would be if somebody down the road used that firearm for a crime, and then they traced it back to the original person, and then traced that original person to you, and then you didn't have a bill of sale showing that you sold it to somebody. Then like you would be a suspect, but you're still, if you didn't do the crime, you still prove that you didn't do the crime. And not having a bill of sale is not
like
a crime.
on like a napkin, and it's like, I sold you blah blah blah.
In fact, the last time this is a fun story, right? I I don't know if I told you about this, Bagel. This is like one of the like my mom is a horrible person trauma stories. But I was like I had to get a bunch of shit from my mom's house. It was like paperwork and shit. And I had my aunt contact her because I at that point like could not fucking deal with my mom. I was just like, I will lose my shit, but like I do need, tax paperwork stuff. And my mom knew I think it was probably tax paperwork because my mom knows that I like lose my shit every fucking tax season. Speaking of which, anyway. And she gave me like this basket of shit. She just like left a basket like on my porch that was like, okay, here's a bunch of your paperwork. And then there was like other like
It's almost
there was an old
overwhelming.
cell phone in there, and there was just like a bunch of junk. It was literally like a bunch of junk in a basket with some paperwork. And
Oh
as
wow.
I'm going through it, one of the items of junk that is in there is a handgun.
Oh my gosh.
I'm like,
Surprise.
this is my mom telling me to off myself. Like, what is this? Like,
Oh my gosh.
what the hell? But yeah, my mom. So yeah, and I think that maybe she was just like, she didn't want to have it in her house anymore, and it was legally mine,
Yeah, but you think there'd be a
registered to
conversation of
me.
some sort, or like I guess maybe
Right, she
she.
just left
Yeah.
it on my porch, literally. And
Awkward.
and I was going through a depressive episode at the time, and luckily was very close to my aunt, and I like messaged her and I was like, "Hey, um, can you like take this?" Um and just like sell it. Like just sell it to the pawn shop, whatever. Like I don't care. Like if my uncle wants it or whatever, like I don't care, but like I don't want this handgun. And I did write like on a it was like a piece of paper like this that was like out of a thing that I like literally ripped out. And I was like, I legal name, sell my specific handgun to, and I think I put both my uncle and aunt on it because I wasn't sure who would take it to the, and then they had the, and I think my aunt said that they didn't even ask for it. So she's just like, she wanted it in
Why
case when
couldn't
they
why
went to go
couldn't
sell it.
why couldn't you have sold it?
Because at the time I didn't have a car and I was like literally like shut in my house from like depression and like
Oh,
not being able
okay.
to deal with shit. Yeah.
I was just wondering. Sorry.
Like for the same reason that I couldn't have a handgun in my house.
That your mom gifted you one. Hey, I hear you're in the depths of despair.
I come bearing gifts.
This is not. Sure. Oh my god. I, that's so weird. Like even my like MAGA family would know not to do that. That's so weird.
Oh, my mom would know not to do that if it was somebody she actually like wanted their well-being in life. Like
Oh, that's
she's not
terrible.
stupid. She was married to a psychologist for many, many years. Like 40 fucking years over that. Yeah. Good times. And then I ended up in a cult. No, I ended up in a cult before the shit with my mom. But the 40 years with my dad might have had something to do with why I ended up in a cult. That has been a lot of that shit is like coming back to me lately about like my dad um basically using us as guinea pigs.
What,
Partly
he's
because
gonna
I'm taking
try
a lot
this
of
new
psych.
therapy technique? So he's like, I'm gonna use it on you. Like what? What?
So my dad was going through school to get his PhD when I was a kid, and like there was new research and he knew that he needed to do a thesis, and basically like ran experiments on me and my brothers, psychological experiments on us as children, so that he could knowingly that he could use that in, you know, 8 to 10 years when he graduated for his What's the not a thesis at that point? It is a dissertation. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you wanna know about my fucked up life as a kid, go read my dad's dissertation. He wrote all about it. Yeah.
Alma Rose says, when my dad died, my sis, who was a cop at the time, kept track of who bought what and who inherited what. Yeah,
Um,
so that makes sense.
Nobody kept track of that as far as I know from well, okay, I'm sure that somebody probably did keep track of some of that, but I didn't get anything from my dad. I got I think I told you this, Speckle. My mom gave me a box of, like, the shit that was obviously that I had given my dad that was, like, in his room. So, like,
Oh,
the CD player that, like, she literally saw me bring it in for him when he was, like, not doing well at the end, and I was like, "Hey, here's a CD player, let's play some music." The I had given him, like, a T-shirt from, like, the store that I worked at that was, like, had this historical context, he always liked the store and stuff, and she knew that I worked there, and, it was obvious that, like, I had given him the shirt, you know what I mean? So she gave me the shirt back, and, like, that kind it was just like, and I think there was one other thing in there that was something like that, where it's just like, thank you for it was like, here's your shit back. Not like, oh, here's something of your father that you might want to remember. No, I didn't get any of that.
yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
I think some of the most terrible things about like funerals and losing somebody is families' toxic behaviors come out. Like all sorts of different versions, and it can look all sorts of different ways. But I don't know. That stuff gets on my nerves because like we should be on our better behavior and we should be helping each other. It's a really hard time, instead of trying to push each other over the edge.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I I've kind of come to peace with it in that that was how my mom needed to heal. And to be fair to my mom, like, she spent like, yes, my mom has her issues. Like, my mom is not a nice person. My mom is not somebody that I am willing to have in my life with the circumstances of her life right now. Um, but she was also married to, an abusive guy for 40 fucking years. And that doesn't necessarily make it like a party when he dies. She still lost her husband. She lost her partner. She lost her security. Like, that was she still lost her part, so she had to do all of that shit and dealing with that. And if that's how she had to, like, mourn that and process that and do that shit is by, like, fucking putting that shit on me and being a fucking cunt, I'm just glad that, like, I was able to make it through that. And that wasn't too much for me to handle.
Yeah.
I feel bad for her that that's how she had to deal with it. I feel bad for her that she doesn't really have the support of her kids when her partner died because she alienated all of us.
Yeah.
What else are kids for? Really? But yeah, she's the victim, by the way. She's just misunderstood.
Well, the loaded gun thing's kind of weird. I'll tell you that.
It was not loaded. No,
Oh, it
I
was not loaded.
so
Okay, good.
no, I no, that was a question that was asked, and I said no. I just shook my head, so maybe you didn't notice that. But I there might have been ammunition in the box also, but it wasn't loaded, and I think probably because I didn't keep it loaded. I don't remember if there was ammunition there. Now that I'm thinking back on it, actually, I do remember that there was ammunition in the box. So it could have been easily loaded. I don't know if that makes it, because it wasn't actually loaded.
I mean, you're saying like there was ammo in it, but not in the gun.
Right. There was
Yeah.
ammo in the basket. And at first I was thinking it was a box of ammo because that was typically how I kept it. But if I remember correctly, it was actually like there was also just like loose shells. Like,
What happened there? Did she like, I want to keep this case this is in, dump?
maybe,
What?
maybe. I don't, yeah, I don't know.
Anytime I've had ammo, it's been like in a case, like not rolling around anywhere. Like you have to pull it out. Yeah.
Well, and that's the other thing is it's like once you like, so you want it to be, especially like if you're somebody who shoots a lot, then like it doesn't really matter. But if it's like it might sit there, for a year or whatever. Like you don't want it to be like exposed to the air, exposed to oxygen, and like moisture changes in the air. You want it to be in a box of some sort. So yeah, it's kind of weird. But I do remember like after that, like multiple times, like digging through that basket and like they're just being like loose.
I went skeet shooting, gosh, I don't know, a while ago. And instead of just, plinging. And this guy was like giving me a hard time with how I shoot. I shoot with two eyes, shoot with one eye closed. And he was giving me a
Oh,
hard time because I'm right-handed, right? And so like, and I was hitting things. Like it wasn't like, I wasn't the best, but like I wasn't the worst. And he's like, no, close your left eye and look through your right eye. And I'm like, I can't. Like there's something wrong with my right eye. Like I keep telling them, like, because I have an issue where my eye doesn't give me all my information on the right
you're
side.
righty, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're
So
shooting with your right eye
I'm
or your
shooting
right hand.
right-handed, but I'm using both eyes. But he was trying to make me use my right eye, which is like like useless, and like I'll just keep missing, kind of thing.
But you shouldn't just like this guy doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Is what I'm
Yeah,
getting
he's
at.
giving me a hard time. He's like, "Close your eye." I'm like, "No, it doesn't work for me." Like,
Okay, no, I was a competitive shooter. Like this is like they go watch the competitive shooters. They do not close one eye. Now, one thing that we would do is we would especially starting out, you would like put something over it where typically I like to change the color of it. So I'll put like a red over it or a blue over it so that it's telling my brain very clearly, this is my left eye. Shut up. Right?
right? Yeah.
Um But that's one of the first things that you learn as a competitive shooter is that you keep both eyes open and you learn how to like differentiate your dominant eye. You don't do this when you're shooting.
But it is awkward in a way to use your left eye and then you're right-handed at the same time.
So there
But
are guns that are made that way. That it's like I can't remember, it's something about like cross sights, but it's for if you're like left eye dominant and right-handed.
oh, that's a cool idea.
And it's just because there's like an extra aspect to it that like
See,
makes
I
it
didn't even
slightly
know
more
that was
accurate.
a thing. How did I not know that's a thing?
But yeah, I would maybe look into that or getting a colored lens for your left eye. But don't close your eye because then you're just like causing tension in your face and like and that will even like pull on your eye and make it less focused.
Well, yeah, my right eye is it sort of loses information dead center of it and or kind of fills it in with the wrong information, sort of like AI. Like, so kind of like an example is I can look at a license plate. In California license plate, the default one is white and blue, so the field is white and the letters are blue. And so this, I'll be right behind that license plate. But if I was to shut my eye and my right eye was looking at that license plate, it would be last letter, maybe one more somewhere, and then it would fade into white. The whole My brain would go, that the rest of that's white. It's the weirdest thing. Like,
Yeah. Your brain's not categorizing the information. So it definitely sounds like you need to keep your left eye open. That's why
yeah,
I
I
think
have
like
to.
a colored lens would like say, hey, like this isn't like where you're looking for specifically, directional, but you're getting other clues from here to fill in the gaps kind of thing.
Yeah, like Scott gives me a hard time. He doesn't know why I have good luck in certain games. So like, I don't know. We were playing this game where you have to throw something to a stake or a block, and I can't even remember what is blockus, or I don't know, not blockus. I don't know. It was something. It was a lawn game, and it was sort of like horseshoes where you had to aim. And he's like, I don't know how you're good when you're so blind. And I was like, I don't know. Like, so, and same with archery. I do pretty well. Like, so I don't know what it is. Like, I'm both blind and do pretty well. So
Amorose also does archery.
archery's fun.
I've only done it a couple of times. I think it's so much more complicated than shooting a gun. And I think like at the time I was doing triathlon and I was like, I already have 4 freaking events. Don't need
Last
to learn how
time
to
I
shoot.
did archery, I had a broken arm, and that actually helped. Well,
Which arm?
technically, a broken wrist to be technical, because the cast went up my forearm, but it kept my arm really, really straight, and it actually helped me.
Ooh. Oh, you didn't have to worry about like this tilt going on. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
no. And I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, cheat to win.
Yeah. Good times. I don't know if there are archery goals or shooting goals. I'm probably.
Here's something that's weird. In California, you can totally have a crossbow, but in Arizona, at least for a while, like it was illegal to have a crossbow. And then you'd
I
have to
feel like
get a
it has
special permit if you were disabled.
if you're disabled to have a crossbow because you can't use a regular oh my gosh, that makes sense.
Yep. So
It
maybe
does
you
make
can't
sense
use
in
a
a weird
compound
way.
bow, but you can use your foot. Like a lot of times with crossbows, you use your foot when you pull back I don't know what you call it, the wire.
Oh, the where you string it, the
Yeah.
string thing. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally legal in Missouri. You don't have to have a permit. Like nothing. It's fine. It's fine.
Right
There are
now,
certain
like
guidelines for which ones you're supposed to use for deer.
right now here in San Diego, they're like, please kill the hogs, please kill it. So like hunters primarily in this area kill hogs, but then they can't eat the hogs because they're messed up.
Don't they? I think isn't it everywhere? They're like kill the fucking hogs. But there
Pretty
they have
much.
the. Do they have? There's like the virus thing that they have there.
Well, they can get viruses, but a lot of them have ingested poison because idiots put out poison to kill them, and then that makes their meat unedible.
Yeah,
And also, then it becomes a hazard to like anything that's a scavenger.
yeah, yeah. Like really bad. So I
Don't
remember
poison hogs.
my uncle was they called him like the hog man around here. Because he would kill like literally dozens of hogs that it was just like a hobby for him. And he would like donate all the meat to like the like homeless shelters and food banks and food pantries and stuff so that it was going to people, low income people. But then there was like a thing that happened that like somewhere started like testing positive for like some virus or some shit. And
Oh
there was like a
no.
while that like he couldn't donate them.
Yeah.
And so it was just like he had to like just incinerate him and he kind of had stopped for a while because it was like and it was almost like the fact that that had gone into effect made him like I feel like it made him like less. He didn't want to do it anymore because he didn't feel like he was giving back to his community.
He was just terminating lives that were gonna die soon anyway. Well, I don't know. Killing diseased
But
animals has a purpose too, because like, yeah, the undiseased population.
yeah, but you can't tell from like they're just like calling the population,
Right. You
you
can't tell
know?
who's got what.
Yeah, and so it's just like at that point it's just sad. I mean, I feel like he did like continue to help with it, but it was just like one of those things where it's like, no, it's just sad. Like before, it was like a fun thing that it was like, yay, like my 50th hog donated to whatever this year or whatever.
Well, that's part of ethical hunting is, that you don't shoot something for the fun of it. You
Yes,
shoot something and use everything you possibly can because you're honoring that life, and life is important. The Boy Scouts teach this. Like the Boy Scouts teach this concept where I
my
think there's a
parents taught
certain
me
amount
that.
of,
Yeah,
there's a certain
you
amount
kill,
of
you eat it.
conservatives that do value life and they're gun owners, and you'll run into conservatives that are pretty responsible. Maybe they were Boy Scouts themselves, and the view is more like it's a tool, it's for hunting or protection, but I hope I don't ever have to use this on a person.
Yeah,
And then you run into a lot of the MAGA people online, and they are just begging to use it. And they're just like, I hope you step on my porch, and they're like screaming
come
that
at me.
from Florida.
Yeah, yeah. That I agree with you. Yes, that it is that sort of vast difference. And I wouldn't say that my uncle was conservative. He just was a hunter.
Yeah.
Um, but there is, I think, that sort of aspect to. There's a certain amount of ecology for a lot of hunters, not all of them. I remember what was it like years ago? There was this guy who was a dentist from Florida, and I remember this because the story broke while I was like at my dentist in Florida. Everybody was like getting upset about it. Um, but he went over on like some African whatever trip to like do some big game hunt where I guess the idea was that like they're supposed to like be able to like kill whatever endangered species, but then like they spend all of this money that like goes to like ecology. And so it's like supposed to be like better for the species as a whole is like the general idea of these places, which first of all kind of sounds like fucking bullshit because if you like really appreciated that species, then maybe you just like donate the money and don't shoot an endangered one. I don't know. Like maybe you donate the money and go shoot something that's like very similar but isn't endangered. And then like it's an
Yeah.
education part too. But no, like this is what he does. And I can't remember what the specific species was, but he happened to be like in this area that was like just outside of like this like big game uh like a preserve type thing. And there was this, I think it was like a lion. It was like well known on the preserve that was like this beloved lion that like
No,
happened
not
to
the
like
beloved lion. No,
he like
not
off this
lions.
like beloved lion.
No.
Everybody was like, "Oh my god!" And the only reason why they were mad at him was because it was this beloved lion from the game preserve. But if it had been any other lion, they would have been fine with it. And it's just like I don't get it. I think it's all fucking bullshit.
I want to know why the game lion was special in Beloved. There must be some reason.
Because he was like known amongst the people in the park and stuff, and he had like a bunch of like offspring and stuff that like people knew, like people like recognized him. If I remember correctly. It's like he had like a Facebook page kind of thing.
Don't kill lions. Don't kill
Like he
them.
had a name. I remember it was like when the whole thing broke. It was like he killed blah 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 the lion.
I hate it. Like lions and, well, any of the big cats being killed. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I hate rhinos being killed. But oh, it's all terrible.
Yeah, it's
Hyenas, I have mixed feelings on.
Are hyenas, they're endangered?
No, they're not.
Okay. Well then, whatever.
They're highly intelligent, actually. Don't ever underestimate them. They're problem solvers.
That sounds kind of creepy.
They are. Like, if you were hanging from a tree, they're going to figure out how to get you down. Like, if you were in a compromised situation and injured, yeah, they'll figure it out.
That's one of the things that kind of creeps me out is like when animals end up being like really clever in weird ways. I'm like, what the,
Hmm.
but the, what? What? Like,
There were two
spider
escapes
intelligence?
from there were two escapes at the San Diego Zoo. One was bonobos, and immediately they just climb trees. They're like, "Yay!" Bonobos are just such like lovely, lovely apes. They're not as mean as like chimpanzees. They're just sex fiends. Um, but the bonobos were like climb up the tree, yay! Hyenas were like more scared of people than humans once they're out. Like, oh my gosh, you know. But yeah, like one of the hyenas was able to get out and then came back, showed the other one, and then they both left. So they
I
had to
mean,
redo their
yeah.
whole enclosure and everything because they figured out somehow how to get out. And of course, you know, they're not gonna tell you what the weakness was exactly, but I guess the hyenas will find that out.
I remember there was one in Florida. It wasn't while I was there, but people would like still talk about it when I was there, where it was some type of primate. I want to say it was like orangutans that got out.
Oh,
And
orangutans are like best case scenario too because they're kind of like, hey,
they're so chill. And that is apparently what happened was like like all these people came, it was like, oh, it's gonna be like a police standoff. And then like the head trainer came and literally just like walked up to like the one that was, I think, like the matriarch, like the mama of the family, and like grabbed her hand and walked her back into the zoo. And the rest of everybody came behind her.
I love orangutans. They're like my favorite. I used to watch them all the time.
They're like, okay,
They're just
fun's
so
over.
sweet and they're gentle and I hate to like be so mean to chimpanzees, our closest relatives supposedly, like, you know, but chimpanzees are mean.
Chimps aren't like that much closer to us than like bonobos or like anything
Yeah,
else,
yeah.
really.
In a world of chimpanzees, be a bonobo. Bonobos are sweethearts, and yeah, they're sex crazed. That's true. But I mean, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, probably. I don't know. I'm not one, so I don't know.
My oldest is one shot kill type of hunter, always clean shot meat, doesn't get contaminated. That's good.
That is nice. Yeah. I so like the rules have changed for deer hunting from the time that I was taught. Um, because like we used to like teach like heart shots was like what we were taught. Which is like you're also it's like a larger area that you're aiming for, and like you're also more likely just to like down the deer even if you miss kind of thing. If you miss slightly.
Right.
Whereas like now that's more of like a trophy kill. Whereas like if it's a big buck and you want to like preserve the head to like mount it, which is weird to me.
Yeah, I always felt weird about the mounted heads. Some of them look so sad too.
I feel like they all look sad.
I know, but some of them are
They're
like they
dead.
knew. Like, there's a difference between you don't know what hit you and when you know what hit you.
I I don't know. I don't know if I've ever looked at one of them and like not been sad. But that's just
I'm trying to think of one that I was like, good. I'm glad. There's none of them that I've been like super stoked about.
there's not an animal that I'm ever happy about dying, even if it's an animal I don't like.
So this is not the time to tell you about the time I was doing the Four Corners in Arizona. I ran over a rattlesnake with my bike and killed it. It was an accident.
I'm glad that you didn't get bit.
It was
I'm
totally an
not glad that the
accident.
rattlesnake died.
I hit it, and then the person behind me hit it, and they said, "I think that was a snake." And then the other person was like, "That was a snake, you guys." I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just killed a rattlesnake." Because we went back
Again,
to
I'm
look,
glad
and
that
of
you
course
didn't
it's
get hurt.
rattle.
I'm glad that you didn't get hurt. I'm sad that the rattlesnake died. That's
I don't know
basically
what he was thinking. Like maybe he thought he was sunning himself on the road. I don't know. Like
yeah.
he's like, "This is a nice rock."
It's a nice big rock, warm rock. It's lots of sun, nice heat.
Then I
Yeah.
come along.
Oh, fucking razor tires.
Jeez. Oh, I know I don't like killing. And then I kill another desert kill by accident. Like we were off roading, and I was in a razor scooter. Now I've never owned this thing, but like I had friends that own this thing, right? Because I can't afford these things. So anyway, I'm in this like razor scooter on four wheels, and so like it's like a go kart, like on roids, and I'm just flying on that. I'm like really confident on it and stuff, and like I'm going up all these washes and stuff. And when you hit, it kind of hurts because the shocks were like so on it. So anyway, anyway,
My brother had one of those. It sucked. Yeah.
I was just going really fast, and like it was one of those things where I hit a prairie dog and killed the prairie dog. Boom. And I for lack of whatever, like we determined it was a prairie dog. If it's not a prairie dog, I don't know. But something in that prairie dog, like marmot family.
I go on with your prairie dog story. I just like you brought back like a weird prairie dog memory of my dad.
Anyway, I felt bad. In the end.
That was the end. Oh my god. Okay. So my dad used to take us on these weird road trips, which I'm pretty sure if I like read deep into his dissertation, I would probably find some notations about. But anyway, um he we would oftentimes just like drive across the country for like but it was we would also take like
For
vacations
ice
where we would
cream?
fly places. It wasn't no, not for ice cream, but like for we went to okay, the one time we went and got like saltwater taffy in Colorado.
Oh, okay. But like, did
I
you
don't
guys like go hiking or anything?
We did go hiking and stuff too. Yeah.
Okay.
But then
Okay.
we so he would sometimes I don't know if he like just agreed to this. Because looking back on this, I feel like this was an Ella decision that I was like, I want to do that. Because I can't imagine anybody else in my family wanted to do this. But I feel like this was like maybe one of the times that I like actually got my family to do some shit. And there was this roadside attraction that used to be on I-70. And like people who are like older and used to take fucking road trips on I-70, like please tell me that you fucking remember this thing. That
They they
was
they always have these things. They're like largest donut in the entire world.
was like that. And it was the world's largest prairie dog. And it was this giant prairie dog statue that literally you could see the statue from the highway. Like there wasn't like it wasn't
You can see the giant
hidden.
prairie dog.
It's just this giant and I think the sign said like world's largest prairie dog or something that it was unclear.
I love things like that. Like that guy Adam the Woo. You might not know him, but I like the Disney vloggers and stuff like that. And Adam the Woo would go to these random places like this. Here's the largest. I don't know. Like here's some dinosaurs.
Okay, it was in Kansas. It was a concrete sculpture. I just looked it up. In Oakley, Kansas. Here's the thing. it was in this like yard. It is permanently closed now. And yeah, that's the thing to say. It had this like whole like prairie dog town, which is like the den that they live in. It's called Prairie Dog Town, and it's like all like underground, right? It's like it looks like a bunch of fucking gopher holes. And again, I don't remember convincing my family to do this, but I don't feel like there was anybody else in my family that was like, we should go do that. I feel like this had to be me who said this. I was like, let's go to this prairie dog town where they give you like this little like baggie full of like dog treats, basically. And like you go out and you feed the prairie dogs. It's like a petting zoo. And there were other animals, like they had like turkeys and they had like cows. And I remember there was like a 6-legged cow that was like
What? What
there
in the
was.
world?
It was like an actual 6-legged cow that like had, birth defect.
Oh,
Uh
these birth defect cows are so scary.
and this one was on display. And I can't remember, there's like all kinds of like other shit there. And so we had our little baggies, and you go out this door, and immediately it's just like gopher holes.
That's one way to do it. Your yard's full of golfers or prairie dogs.
Just,
Here,
as
feeding
soon,
zoo.
and my dad is a very tall man and has 3 like young children that are like running around, waist height. And so he's
Excited
like
about
looking
prairie
off,
dogs.
and he's like looking off, and he's like seeing like there's like a peacock, and there's like this like giant statue of a prairie dog. There's a cow over there. Does that sign say
Muted
6-legged
cow.
cow? And he goes, like, I still remember like my dad's tone of voice and like his like Missouri drawl coming out. And he's like, Prairie Dog Town? I don't see no stinking Prairie Dog Town. And as soon as he says it, sticks his foot in a prairie dog hole.
And sprains his
Like,
ankle.
face plant.
Oh no.
And it's like, he kind of a good sport about it, but it's also like mad. It's like basically sliced up his leg pretty good, and like is a little bit of it. But it didn't slice it; it scraped it. Scraped it. That's more the
Well,
word I
then
was
he
looking
just
for.
saw prairie dog evidence. He did see the evidence of prairie dogs.
And it was just like, dude, you idiot! It was like all around you. Just look down. Where do
Why
you think
can't
the
we
prairie
be
dog?
friends, Rose? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Is it because of the heads on the wall?
I'm sorry. Do you have heads on your wall?
I, I don't think so. Maybe her son might be. Yeah, maybe
Maybe.
mounted like it.
So I'm not like against. I'm kind of against like trophy hunting as a concept. Like if you kill it, you eat it.
Yeah, that's what the Boy Scouts teach. It's like if you kill it, you eat it, and or use their skin if possible, just so that you're not killing to kill kind of thing. Um, oh, I hit the prairie dog.
Like
Yeah,
you had
I
to learn
felt
how to.
bad. They're cute. Like I want to hit the ugly animals like the rattlesnakes.
Like I had to learn
Just
how to
kidding.
skin a squirrel when I was a kid because if you kill it, you eat it. That's a fun process. That'll make you a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Not really, but yeah. I have not seen. There's a prairie dog meme video? Oh no.
I
Oh no.
also like there's the phrase prairie dogging, but I won't go into detail what that is.
I don't think I want to know.
It means you need to poop.
Okay. Okay, it's coming together now. Oh my gosh. Okay. Let me see if I can pull this.
Yeah, I saw a squirrel get taken by a hawk. It was like in an instant. Boom.
Yeah, they're so quick.
Hawks are amazing, but then you feel bad. You're like, oh, poor guy.
Oh, it won't let me open a JPEG. Damn. I just want to show this hilarious picture. And I'm wondering, will it let me zoom
I was
in?
walking Raffle, actually, my dog, and this was a while ago. A hawk flew down and killed a bird. So, like, as we were walking, to the right of us was a fence, about, I don't know, a little further than an arm's length away from us, but pretty close. And on top of the bird was on top of the fence was a bird chilling, and a hawk swooped down and killed that. And it was like one feather kind of floating to the ground, and it took the rest of the bird with it. And it was just so shocking because I was like, that's bold doing that right in front of me like that.
This was the this is the sign. Again, maybe it was my brother's.
Wait, what? I don't
But
see anything.
you don't see the sign?
No, I see
Did it not
orange.
share? No.
I see Salvador Dali elephants. I see that.
No. Okay, let me try and share it a different way. Let's see. Then I'm just gonna share screen from
Using the
this,
meat.
so
Yep.
it'll be there. Not zoomed in as much, but
There we go. I can see it now. Make sure you share the sound, I guess.
why? It doesn't have any sound. It's just
Oh,
the
okay.
sign. This
Prairie
is a
dog
rattlesnake
town,
sign.
rattlesnakes. Look at that. It's perfect. Where did this come from? It's hilarious.
This is the sign. This is the sign. I looked up
Oh
world's
my God.
largest prairie dog, and I found the
I love
place.
that it lists rattlesnakes because I was talking about killing rattlesnakes and prairie dogs. This is perfect.
There were rattlesnakes there, and they sold all manner of like rattlesnake like knickknacks. I was gonna say tchotchkes, but like they were very not Jewish, so I don't go with knickknacks.
Yeah, a lot of times in these
Yes,
places they'll have like old rattlers and stuff like that.
it was the colossal prairie dog.
Oh my gosh, it's colossal.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find more pictures of it. Here, I'm not gonna show you my whole, but
Yeah, these really weird attractions are hilarious.
yes. Yeah,
Like, here's the world's most giant pickle. Oh, in Borrego, there's a picture of me running from what looks like a dinosaur. It's a giant metal sculpture in Borrego, in the desert over here. And they have like a serpent coming out of the ground, like a big giant sea serpent, and a dinosaur, and like a triceratops, and all sorts of things. I think a scorpion. And there's just giant sculptures made out of metal, and it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool.
this one is like a giant one made out of concrete. It's just a giant concrete prairie
Giant concrete prairie dog.
dog. It is. I'm telling you. Here, share the next one.
Show them your larboard side.
Oh, oh, come on.
A little
Giant
420
concrete prairie
APS.
dog. This is
So that
somebody
looks like a
took
sand
a picture of it
sculpture.
afterwards. What was that?
What's it made out of? Like concrete or something? What's
It's
it made out of?
concrete. Hello, hello. It's concrete. It's a giant concrete statue of a prairie dog. Okay, so you've seen it. It's in Kansas. It's between you and me, GeoSam. I'm sure that the prairie dog is still there, but the six-legged steer and the rattlesnakes in the prairie dog town are all gone. But this is like you can see kind of behind where there's like the fence. It was all like back there. That was all where the peacocks and the turkeys and everything was.
Peacocks are so loud. They're like really loud.
I mean, probably. I don't. They seem like
I
they're
don't know.
nice. They like to have them at like zoos and stuff around here.
Yeah, they like them in the zoo too, and they would jump on the roof of the zoo. Like their jumping is like you always think of them on the ground, but they can jump pretty high.
They're
Um,
birds.
yeah, they are birds, and they make these noises, and usually it's early morning, and like some of the farms and rural areas around here kind of have it. Yeah, I say farm very loosely, like kind of like little hobby farms. And you'll hear this thing, and it's like, meow. Like, what the hell is that? Oh,
Okay.
that's just the like they're just really loud, and it's like 4 a.m. Go.
Yeah. I think they like them because they're hardy. Like
Yeah,
they're very spectacular looking, the males. Not the peahens so much, but the cocks. And they're hardy. And you can keep a bunch of them around. And
and they're pretty. The males are pretty.
and people like it. And they tell their friends, oh, they have peacocks.
Oh, and they sell the peacock feathers a lot of times.
Oh, that's a good point. They probably, yeah, there was, like I was saying, it was a ton of like rattlesnake stuff. And of course, I was, like
Yeah.
a teenage kid in the 90s. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, they'll take their feathers when they're ready to go, like ready to fall out, and they'll grab them and while they're still pretty.
Yes. Yeah. My understanding is it's not like they don't have to like harm them to
They don't
do
have to
it,
pluck it. They just it falls out kind of.
which is interesting. Also, I want to know
I've
like how
never been
nature
a
decided that was, you know what I mean?
feathers like falling out. Like why aren't they permanent?
No, I get that. But the peacock feather in particular is like how how did we come
Oh
up with
yeah,
that? It's
that's
like when
true.
I think about like human menstruation cycle and like how for half of my life, like 3 to 4 days out of the month, I was just incapacitated and bleeding,
Yeah,
right? Like
and like
how,
surely there's
how
a way that we could have evolved that would be better than this.
right? Like how why did evolution decide that was a good idea? Like, oh, let's just like make you really vulnerable to predators for 3 months out or 3 days out of the month, 3 to 5 days out of the month. And like that's how we reproduce. The entire species will be
Yeah,
contingent
it's
on
all
that.
weird. Look, I've come to grips with like almost dying in December. I've come to grips with like how much in our body we do not control, like directly, and it's really wild when like you watch your body and it's just taking you for a ride that you don't want to go on. Woo!
Oh my
And
god.
you're like, no. But like it's made me go, well, I think I'm going to make some lifestyle changes here and there, because I don't want to do that again. But it's just wild. We can control what we eat and how much we sleep and what we ingest in our bodies and stuff like that. But there's so much that feels out of our control within our own body.
Yes. Yes. It it bothers me, but I try not to think about it.
Especially
That's
since I have
sketchy.
autoimmune stuff too. I'm like, well, you guys need to get your act together.
Yeah.
I talk to my white blood cells and yell at them.
Ooh, that's an interesting idea, like the magic school bus.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I watch
If only.
too much kid cartoons. Not really. I don't like actually watch that shit. I just like put it on. It's a long story.
I mean, when you grow up with
We can
something
talk
that's
about it later.
familiar,
It's weird and
sometimes
embarrassing.
when you grow up with something familiar, it feels like kind of homey. I've left Mr. Rogers on, like.
Well, I told you about that I started like rewatching Star Trek. like after my dad died.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like I told you about that I got the box set because the
Yeah.
upcoming thing. And it's like, you know,
You start to kind of, I don't know, honor people sometimes with the things that they love. Like, my brother was a big Dune fan, right? So I read the book and I was playing the game for a while actually too. But like, Dune's like overwhelming, honestly, for me because it's a little bit like I don't know why I can keep like houses and Game of Thrones straight, but there are things that I remember and names that I remember. When the names are really odd and not familiar to me, it's hard for me to remember them. Like that's the tough part.
and the way that Dune, like the story of it, because it's such an epic and it goes like generations, really. So to try and like remember all of like the interwoven story, like literally through generations, is hard because you're not just keeping track of one character.
Right. So occasionally I get lost a little bit. And I'm like, what? And I have to look it up.
It's kind of like, have you read any of like L. Ron Hubbard's?
A little bit, yeah. I can't remember which one I picked up. Dianetics, maybe? I think it was Dianetics.
I
That's the
think.
one that they pushed a lot.
Okay, I read some of his shit that was like from before Dianetics. Like he's just not a very good writer. But I think he's trying to get at the same thing, I think, as
Did,
Dune.
did you read more of um, more of his sci-fi stuff then?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and he says it's fact or something.
Yeah. That's he wrote it as sci-fi. But then he was like, "Oh, well, it's actually the truth." Is my understanding. Again, I'm not a Scientologist, so like I read it purely from the perspective of a reader that was not interested in it as a religion. And it was like, this is bad, but I'm going to read it anyway because my library doesn't have any more sci-fi that I haven't read. It's kind of how I ended up reading a lot of like bad fiction. Redeeming Love, that like that romance oh, I told you about that's like based on what's the story in the Bible with oh gosh, I can't think of her name. It'll come to me later. But actually I
Bathsheba,
can just look it up. No.
her name Rahab, Ruth. Ruth
No,
uncovered Boaz's feet, and then Boaz was like, "Oh shucks, did we sleep together?"
right. It's based on the book of Hosea, and I can't remember
Oh,
what
the
is the
whore life.
yeah.
Yeah. So Hosea's has to marry oh, it
What's her
starts with a
name?
G.
Gomer.
Gomer. Yeah. He has to marry
Sorry.
Gomer, and Gomer's unfaithful. Gomer is pretty much a prostitute, and he is called to love her anyway. And it's
Yeah. So
supposed to
Redeeming
be an
Love,
analogy.
Francine Rivers, um, who is a Christian romance author, um, turned the book of Hosea into a romance novel based in the early American West, the Wild West.
You could have like basically gotten it in Moulin Rouge, but whatever.
It is arguably worse than the original. um, it's so bad. It is like I don't you okay, so it got turned into a movie. And you might remember years ago, I asked you if you would like do like a movie reaction with
Yeah,
me to
yeah,
this
we like
movie.
watched that. Yeah,
And we just like never got around to it. But yeah, like I think that yeah, we should watch it
it
because
popped up in
you'll find it
Netflix, and I was
hilarious.
I saw it pop up on Netflix, and I was like, "Oh, there's that movie again."
It's on Netflix?
I think so. It's either Netflix or Prime because those are the only two I have.
I have like a pirated copy of it that we could just watch on stream or
Yeah,
whatever. Um, and the way that like StreamYard works now, we could actually like do it properly with proper audio as opposed to remember there was a whole thing that I was like, okay, we have to do this, like
yeah.
isolate
Sometimes you
audio.
have to change the visual, sometimes or the audio.
Yeah, it's a little bit complicated, but we should probably wrap up because it's getting close to 2 hours. And we're not talking about cults anymore. We're talking about well, Christianity is kind of a cult, but it's its own cult.
We found a bunny trail. We were like talking about Scientology. We're talking about Christianity going wrong.
So many cults. So many cults. Frank Herbert was a wild man. I don't think he started any cults though. I mean, maybe cults were started in his honor.
L. Ron
But
Hubbard, man. L. Ron Hubbard.
also a wild man. He did start cults. Yeah.
Dianetics. A mother
Um,
separated from her child. Her child burns her hand on the stove. The mother feels it. Oh,
yeah. Again, I feel like he was kind of trying to do what Herbert successfully did.
right.
But to some people that's just even trying to do that type of story is exhausting. It's like for a long time, um, I had a really, really hard time reading anything that was in second person present tense. I was like, I can't. I'd like get one chapter through. I'd be like, no, throw it across the room. But you do it enough, and you can do it.
Diuretics.
I've not read Dianetics. Maybe I should. No, I feel like I shouldn't because it's going to be worse. I'm trying to like not read shitty books anymore because I've got shit to do with my life.
Yeah, it's hard to like pick those two, like which ones to read and which ones not to, kind of thing. If you are gonna do it,
Yeah, that's
I think
yeah because there is a certain
Scientology.
amount of like irony and fun in like reading the shitty books.
Yeah,
I
I
am
think
one of those people. You know how like people will like ironically watch bad movies and like genuinely get a kick out of like
I've done
ironically
that.
watching.
Yeah, I watched Santa Claus Conquers the Martians before Mystery Science Theater watched it. I watched it with my brother because we intentionally wanted to watch a bad movie, and it was bad. Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is ridiculous.
And that's why I read Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. It
Right.
was so terrible. It was so terrible. But I want to bring it to you all so that you don't actually have to watch the movie to experience how terrible it is because it's also a book. It's a movie and a book now. And I feel like the movie probably has to do just as good a job of being terrible as the book. The book is so bad. We can talk more about it off air. Sorry. We've got like 6 minutes. Is there any
Okay.
questions from the audience about like actual cult shit? And next week we'll do better about like actually staying on topic. I'm sorry. I had exams this week. I really needed to blow off the steam. So this has been really fun. I just, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm
And I
sorry.
had an edible, so I'm just gonna go with the flow.
Yeah, we're both on our shit this week. Okay.
Do you have any questions?
We need a jingle. You know what I didn't do? I realized as I was getting on, like starting the stream, is that I did not change the outro that I keep saying for like the past 3 weeks. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to clip that.
We need a jingle that'll be like, ask yourself, were you in the cult?
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna workshop that.
Because you ever get out of something, I can think of a church situation I got out of, which was very culty, and I'm like, was I in a cult? And then my therapist was like, yes.
Yes. Yes, you were. Yeah, we need a jingle. Okay, I'm gonna workshop a jingle because that is the thing. You know me. I'll be like,
Yep.
that's a
No, I like to have little things
instead
too. You just bring up, and you're just like
put the
random callbacks
money
to
in a
different things.
duffel bag. Sorry, what?
I like to have like random clips and stuff of weird stuff, like often weird stuff that's said on stream. But yeah,
Yeah, I love it. I love it because somebody taught me a few years back that nothing is embarrassing if you refuse to be embarrassed.
I mean, embarrassment's the eye of the beholder, so to speak. Like, I guess the
Yeah,
experience of the individual.
yeah. Also, if it was something that I really was embarrassed about, like you probably wouldn't post it. So
Yeah, I try not to embarrass other people, but sometimes I'll get like story time, and I'm like, oh, too far. Like, so I have to be careful.
yeah, I try not to embarrass people I like. If I don't
I'm
like
trying.
you, whatever.
I can't think of an example, but like I don't know, like
Like I wouldn't stop somebody from bringing up Steve McRae and the poop cruise. Like I,
oh my gosh, the poop cruise. I watched that thing.
that kind of stuff, you know?
First of all, the problem with the poop cruise is people didn't follow instructions. That's why it got so bad in part because
That's a
they
different poop cruise. But yes,
okay.
that's a different poop cruise. There's a Steve McRae story it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because Steve McRae is kind of an embarrassment of a person.
Steve McRae is a sorry son of a bitch. There's a song made for that. I'll have to show you the song clip. Somebody's made a whole song about it.
Oily
He's like,
greasy boy.
Steve McRae is a punk ass motherfucker. Steve McRae is the sorriest son of a bitch.
Kinda. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, the guy real, he passed away, but he made this song this against Steve McRae, and I always think of it now.
Aw. Sounds like a sweet guy. I'm sorry that I didn't get never met him.
He was a fire and ice. Like he was a ball of fire sometimes.
Sounds like a lot of people in this community, to be fair. Well, I don't think we have any more questions. I mean, I have gotten a few comments from GeoSam. I appreciate that. I appreciate all you guys' comments
Yep, Amarez,
today.
good to see you again. Yay. Amarez
Yeah.
and I are good friends. We talk like almost every day too. So like we're good friends. We're
Yeah, there
buddies.
were a bunch of people here tonight. It was nice to see you all.
Yep, great to see you, Aunt Jer. I'm always happy to see Aunt Jer's comments and stuff. Always
Yay.
good.
Sammy was here. Sandy was here. Yeah. Thank you guys all. I appreciate it. I love seeing y'all.
Indeed.
And I will be back on Thursday to do more of a open hangout chill type sesh. I don't know if Spackle will be back. You might be busy. It's okay.
Tomorrow?
Um, not tomorrow, Thursday.
Thursday. Okay. I might be able to
Um,
swing by. It depends on what's like. It depends on my energy level after work because I'm still getting kind of used to everything.
right on. Well, last week we had Doubting Thomas was came on and he was it was a really interesting conversation. It was a good time. If you guys haven't seen that, I do recommend go back and watch it because it was he had an interesting perspective. We agreed on a lot of things. He is like pro 12 steps, I think. But yeah, there were a lot of things that we did agree on. So it was a good combo and I'm hoping that he'll come back. I'm not sure if he will. Sammy was there also, and other people are welcome to join as well if you have stuff that you wanna talk about. Um, but yeah, that'll be on Thursday night, same time as this stream. So that is 6 Central, 4 Pacific. And that's I'm not gonna guess on time zones beyond that because I suck at that shit. But yeah, whatever time it is here, that's the end of the stream on Thursday. The 2 hours before that. So, yeah. Any final words, Backle?
Um, I'm glad you're doing these kind of hangout streams. I think community is important, and I think with all the stuff that's going on and what's wrong in the world, like sometimes it's just nice to just chill somewhere. And sometimes you don't want to go out to meet your friends in person because it is a lot of effort, especially in the cold. I don't have the
Also
cold, but
scary out
yeah,
there.
sometimes it's nice to just talk and I don't know. Friends don't talk on the phone anymore, so like it's like I don't know. It's kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to, like, get a chance to hang out and talk. Because 'Cause you're right. We don't hang out and talk on the phone. But, like, we're Gen X, so that's how we grew up. We're old. That's Backle, we're old now.
I'm Gen X. I'm the last year Gen X. You are actually a millennial, but
I'm
maybe you
a,
find yourself being a
like,
zennial.
millennial. Yeah. I
Because I
am that
officially am a zennial too.
I am that generation that they, like, told us, "You are Gen X," and then they're like, "Just kidding."
Yeah, so you're on the cusp between, and that's where you like had an analog life before computers at some point.
I have definitely foundational memories of an analog life.
I sometimes miss analog lives. I like doing stuff like this, but then there's some things where I go, like the scrolling thing that you do, like doom scrolling. Like sometimes I'll find myself doom scrolling, and I'll watch a short, and that's interesting, and I'll watch another one, and then it's like scroll, 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 and I'm like, what happened to my last 30 minutes? Kind of thing.
I've done that so much, and, like, especially with school and stuff, I'm, like, realizing how much of my time fucking yeah. But anyway, but I also like that I could just take all 5 classes from the same chair.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
I don't know. I I've been thinking about taking, like, maybe 30 minutes a week to, like, just record a quick little vlog about my experience as a old person doing online schooling, going back to school and doing online schooling for the first time. Like a case study, not like to upload on YouTube, just it's interesting. All right. And with that, um, go boomers. And you guys have a good one.
Bye bye.